Okay, good morning class or good afternoon or whatever time you're watching this video. So we're going to continue our discussion on Laplace transform. Right now we're going to focus on the transforms of derivatives and initial value problems. Okay? So I hope you remember our discussion before sa Laplace transform definition, yung transform of elementary functions and all of that, because we're going to use all of that knowledge as we progress in our discussion, as we solve for the IVP or mga differential equations na to, no, given ang mga initial value conditions. Okay, so again, nag-revolve gyud ang ato ang course class on how to solve differential equations. And as we have learned before, since midterm, no, since the beginning of our course, that there are so many ways to solve an ordinary differential equation. And one of this is using Laplace transform. Okay, so let's discuss the transform of derivatives. I'm just gonna turn off my video para hindi ko malag. Okay, so we want to get, in our discussion, we should be arriving on how to transform a certain derivative of a function, say a function y. So unsa na to pagkuha sa Laplace transform sa y prime, y double prime, and so on, no, sa yung higher derivatives. And we can use that in order to solve linear ODE, no, with initial values. So let y class be f of t. Okay, so if you want to get the Laplace transform of its first derivative, that would be the Laplace of y prime, no, or the Laplace of f prime of t, that is just equal. Now recall sa ato ang previous discussion that when you want to get a Laplace transform of something, say f of t, all you have to do is multiply it, di ba? Kaning sa sulod sa atong integral. So that is the integral from 0 to infinity of e to the negative st times f of t dt. Okay? So pasabot, whatever you're getting the Laplace transform of, dili ra nimo siya ipag-plug in nga part. Okay? And this part here, constant na siya e to the negative st dt. Alright? So if you want to get the Laplace transform of f prime of t, all you have to do is ato siyang i-plug in diri. Okay, so that is the integral of 0 to infinity of e to the st, negative st, f prime of t dt. Okay, so how do we integrate this? We must use integration by parts. Alright, so assume na ito mao ni atong u and mao ni atong dv. Okay, because recall, we have the integral of u dv. That would be equal to uv, no, minus the integral of of v du. Okay, so defining u and dv, we have here e to the negative st, and then dv na to is f prime of t dt. So we must get du, and that is negative s e to the negative st dt. And then getting v, the antiderivative dv, that is just equal to f of t. Okay, so we can solve now for the integral niya. So that is, kapihon lang din ako, from 0 to infinity of e to the negative st f prime of t dt is equal to, remember we have uv. So kining e to the negative st, no, times f of t. Okay? Muna uv minus the integral, sorry, na ako'y nalimtan. Dapat, ato sa ni siyang ikuan class. What we're gonna do is, since we have a limit sa itong integral, we must evaluate this from 0 to infinity. Okay, same limit. And then, ato na po ta sa minus integral of 0 from 0 to infinity of v du. So, ang v na to is f of t. Okay, and then du is negative s e to the negative st dt. Okay, so ato sa ning i-evaluate no from 0 to infinity kining first term na to. And remember, the variable that we are substituting kay katong t, dili ang s. Okay, because we are evaluating no in terms of dt man. So ang s na to should be a constant, treated as a constant. So here okay, infinity. So e to the ako na lang ni i-arrange na sa that is e to the negative s times infinity, no? Times f of infinity. Alright? Minus e to the negative s times 0 times f of 0. Okay? Minus. Now, in this second term class, as I've mentioned, we are evaluating in terms of t. So that means we treat s as a constant. Therefore, pwede na ako ni siya ipagawas, no, dira. It will be negated because negative s man ang nasa sulod, negative sa gawas. So we have plus s integral from 0 to infinity of, ako na ning i-rearrange class, we have e to the negative st f of t dt. Okay? So, kabalo naman ta. Nag-solve na ta ni before, no? This one will be 0 and this one will be 1. So, simplifying that, next page lang ko, that is equal to, tungod lang ako, that is equal to negative f of 0, okay, plus s. Now, this one class, if you have noticed, this is just the Laplace transform of f of t. Okay? Nara, mong gi-multiply, ang f of t gi-multiply nimo sa e to the negative st og dt. So that means, that is just, we can rewrite that as the Laplace transform of f of t. Okay? So, para mas dali pagid ang ato ang approach class as we go along sa atong discussion, no, sa atong pag-solve, ato ni pampulihan og y tanan. Because we assume nga atong y is f of t man, no? So, para dili ra kay daghan og panga parenthesis dira, papulihan nato ng uban nga pwede mapulihan og y. Okay? Since this is just equal to kini siya is just the, di ba, that is the Laplace transform of f prime of t. Okay? And that is equivalent to the Laplace transform of y prime, di ba? So, minus f of 0 is just equivalent to y of 0. Okay? Plus s Laplace transform of y. Okay, so don't worry about that. Pwede mo magamit og f of t, f of 0, nara sa inyo. Pero, again, para mas gamay ang atong i-deal nga mga letters ba, mga parentheses. Okay, so we already have here the Laplace transform of y prime, no, given ani. What if we want to get the Laplace transform of higher derivatives pagid class? What will happen? So, okay, all we have to do is tanaw na tong pattern sa ato ang Laplace transform of y prime class. Okay, what if we want to get the second derivative, no, Laplace transform of the second derivative of y? So, tanaw sa nato ning first derivative. This one is y of 0. And this is just the antiderivative of y prime, right? And same is true with this, the Laplace transform of y. Ang y na to is the antiderivative of y prime. So, following that logic, we can say that the Laplace transform of y double prime is just equal to the negative of y prime of 0, okay, plus s, and then multiplied by the Laplace transform of y prime. Okay? So, y prime here, Laplace of y prime is equal to this. Okay? So, substituting that, we get negative y prime of 0 plus s, okay, minus y of 0 plus s Laplace of y. Okay, so ato lang na-simplify gamay. We have negative y prime of 0 minus s times y of 0 plus s squared times the Laplace transform of y. Okay. Let me move this. Okay, magkuha pa tag Laplace transform of y triple prime class para mas makita ninyo ang pattern. Okay, what if you want to get the Laplace transform of y triple prime or the third derivative of y? Okay, what will happen here is that is equivalent to negative y double prime of 0. Okay, follow lang taan eh. Kini lang sa nga pattern. Plus s times the Laplace transform of y double prime. Okay, the antiderivative of y triple prime. And then, substitute nato ning value ani. Kani siya. Alright, so that is negative y double prime of 0 plus s multiplied by negative y prime di of 0 minus s y of 0 plus s squared Laplace transform of y. Okay, we simplify that class. We have negative y double prime of 0 minus s y prime of 0 minus s squared minus s squared y of 0 plus s cube Laplace transform of y. Okay, what I'm gonna do next class is I'm gonna rearrange this para mas makita ninyo yung pattern. So let me move this a little bit to the left. Okay, so all right, so recall our, actually nara sa gilid, the Laplace transform of y prime class. Let's rearrange. Unahon na to ning naay s Laplace of y. Okay, so we have s Laplace of y minus y of 0. Okay, the Laplace transform of y double prime, which is this one. Okay, ito nang i-rearrange, that is s squared Laplace of y minus s y of 0 minus y prime of 0. Okay, next is the Laplace transform of y triple prime, kani siya. So we have s cube Laplace transform of y minus s squared y of 0 minus s y prime of 0 minus y double prime of 0. Okay, so I think by now you have already guessed or you have already noticed a pattern class, no, for higher derivatives. So generally, ang iyahang kuan, wala na ako nabutang diri din. So generally, let me copy this. Okay, so nakita ninyo class that the S, sa S lang sa tamang focus, for as we increase the order no of derivative, what happens to the exponent of S that is multiplied sa imuhang Laplace transform of y, it also increases. For y prime, s lang. For y double prime, s squared. For y triple prime, that is s cubed. Okay? So, for y, as we go to the next term class, ang imo pong s diri, actually, kuan man na siya s of 0. Kaya na siya 1. So, kung magtanaw ta, per Laplace, no? Per Laplace transform, ang s niya nag-decrease ang iyahang exponent. Okay, nag-decrease ang number. So kini 1, so mo ni s of 0 multiplied by y of 0. Okay, here sa y double prime we have s squared. This one is s to the 1 minus kini siya is s to the 0. Okay, pero gasunod ra gyapon we have ang imong second term is always y of 0, y of 0, y of 0. As we go to the next terms na dayon, ang nagka-increase per class ang imuhang order of derivative. So in this case, sa y double prime, y prime of 0, ang next term niya. Y prime of 0, gyapon niya next term. Okay. Pero, s to the 1 pamaning y double prime, no? So, napakay s to the 0 nga multiplyan nimo o katong next nimo nga derivative sa imong y. Okay? So, if we have to guess, our y, our Laplace transform of y, of the fourth derivative of y, must be something like s to the fourth Laplace transform of y, okay, minus, nakay y to the y of 0 diri no for sure. But ang s nga imong i-multiply niya is s cubed na. Okay? And then minus s squared, mag-decrease ang iyang exponent, na kay y prime of 0 minus na kay s to the 1 or s lang times y double prime of 0 minus pa yun wala na, s to the 0 naman, so 1 na siya. That is y triple prime of 0. Okay, and notice that class, ang imong pinaka-last gid nga term is just your one derivative lower than your end derivative nga imong gikuhaan og Laplace transform, no? Okay? So, if you want to get the Laplace transform of y prime, ang imong last nga term dra is yang antiderivative. One derivative lower. So, in this case, y prime na, so balik kag y. Y double prime, y prime. Y triple prime, y double prime. And then, fourth derivative of y, nakay third derivative of y. Okay? So, in general, ang imong pattern na is generally, your Laplace transform of y to the n di, dili y to the n, nth derivative of y, dapat naka-parenthesis na, is equal to, saman, s to the n, okay, same raman na siya, multiplied by the Laplace transform of y, minus, magka-decrease man ang imong exponent, so that is n minus 1, y of 0, minus, s n minus 2 na pod ka, y prime of 0, no? Minus, minus, until maabot ka class sa imuhang s. Okay? Kanang s na lang isa. And that is equivalent to, s lagi, s multiplied by y. Now, ang imuhang order po sa imong derivative ani class is, as you can see here, sa pattern na to, kung nakay 4 dira, ang always naka-multiply sa imuhang s nga term is less than 2 sa imuhang derivative nga gikuhaan, ay mong ang imuhang order sa derivative, no, nga gikuhaan nimo transform. So kung 4, 2 na siya. Kung 3, 1, and so on. Okay? That means if you have n here, ang imong order sa derivative nga multiplied by your s should be n minus 2. Okay? Of 0 lang gihapon. Minus syempre, after s to the 0 naman na. So, pwede na ito dili sulat. That is y. And again, katong giingon nga, ang last term always is one derivative lower than the order of the derivative na gikuhaan nimo transform. So, that is n minus 1. Okay, of 0. So, that is the general expression of the Laplace transform of any nth derivative of y. Okay. So, sige, let's have this problem para ma-apply na to ato ang knowledge in finding the transform of derivatives. So, dili lang sa ta mag-differential equation, no? Kay wala man tay equation, di wala tay equal sign dire. Let's just get the Laplace transform of this expression, y double prime minus 3y prime plus y. Given atong condition nga, when y prime of 0 is equal to 0 and y of 0 is equal to 0, meaning when t is equal to 0 class, ang y niya kay 0. And for y prime niya is 0. And then when t is equal to 0, ang y niya is 0. So, let's get the Laplace transform of that. So that is Laplace transform of y double prime minus 3y prime plus y. Again, dili pa ni siya differential equation, no? Kaya wala man tay equal sign, di pa ni equation. So, ato lang i-apply ang ato ang na-learn in the previous slides. So, we use the linear property of Laplace transform class. Pwede nato ni siya ma-express in this way. No? This is the Laplace transform of y double prime minus 3. Again, ang constant, pwede ni mo ipakilid. Times the Laplace transform of y prime plus the Laplace transform of y. Okay? So, recall, Laplace transform of y prime is equivalent to s squared, na dito sa taas. Okay? S squared Laplace transform of y minus s y of 0 minus y prime of 0. Okay, mo na siya ang Laplace transform of y double prime. Now, let's go to the next term. We have minus 3. The Laplace transform of y prime class is just equivalent to s Laplace transform of y minus y of 0. Then finally, we have plus Laplace transform of y. All right, so we are given with the initial conditions, no? So, y of 0 is equal to 0, y prime of 0 is equal to 0. That means, kaning siya nga mga value, 0 ra ni siya. Okay? So, that is, ang mabili na lang s squared, Laplace transform of y, minus 3, sorry, napali kay 0 din. Minus 3, s Laplace transform of y, plus Laplace transform of y. And then, factor out lang na to class ang common nila, which is the Laplace transform of y. And this is very relevant. This is very important, no? That we know how to do this. Because mo ni siya ang process. Isa na siya sa process sa pagkuha sa tuwang solution of linear ODE later. Okay? Kining Laplace transform of y nga atong i-factor out. So that leaves us with s squared minus 3s plus 1. Okay? So that is the Laplace transform of this one. Muna ni siya atong Laplace transform. So, ayaw lang kayo magka-worry, ma'am, napalagi Laplace transform of y dira. Dili gina siya mo atong ultimate nga goal nga diri ra taman. Okay, napatay next step ani. Pero para lang maanad ta class, let's have another example. We find the Laplace transform of 2y triple prime minus 4y prime plus 5. Given ano yung mga condition, we have y double prime of 0 is equal to 1, y prime of 0 is equal to 2, and y of 0 is equal to 3. Okay, so okay. Let's get the Laplace transform of 2y triple prime minus 4y prime plus 5. Okay. That is equal to, again, using the linear property, that is 2 Laplace transform of y triple prime minus 4 Laplace transform of y prime plus 5. Okay, we have 2 times the Laplace transform of y triple prime class is s cubed. No, Laplace transform of y minus s squared y of 0. Next is minus s y prime of 0 minus y double prime of 0. Okay. Minus, din lang po ito sa obos, minus 4. Now, the Laplace transform of y prime is simply s Laplace transform of y minus y of 0. Plus, ay, nanong 5, sorry. Sure nakakita mo ni. So, di na siya 5. Dapat Laplace transform of 5 pag yun. Okay, and the Laplace transform of 5, we know, is 5 over s. Okay. So, simplify nato yung nasa sulod class. Okay, so we have the next one is, sorry, atong i-substitute ang atong mga values, ang values na gihatag sa ato, ano. So, that is 2 s cubed Laplace transform of y minus s squared. Ang imuhang y of 0 class is equal to 3. Okay? Y of 0 is equal to 3. So, substitute minus s. Imuhang y prime is equal to 2. So, substitute 2 minus y double prime of 0 is equal to 1. Alright. Minus 4. And that is s Laplace transform of y minus y of 0 is 3 plus 5s. Okay. Next is we distribute. We have 2s cubed Laplace transform of y minus 6s squared. Okay, minus 4s minus 2. Same is true with this, minus 4s Laplace transform of y plus 12 plus 5s. Okay, ato ra gyapon i-factor out ang Laplace transform of y class. And that leaves us with 2s cubed minus 4s. And simplifying, combining like terms, we have, wala tayong s squared, no? We have 6s squared. And then minus 4s. We have negative 2 plus 12. That is plus 10. And then plus 5 over s. Okay, so this is the Laplace transform of 2y triple prime minus 4y prime plus 5. Again, no need to worry about Laplace transform of y. Yet. No yet. Alright, let's go to our to solving the initial value problems. Now, recall class in the introduction of Laplace transform sa atong discussion. Gitaganta mo aning a figure or process, no? So, when we are given an initial value problem, how do we solve that using Laplace transform? It's very easy. A little bit lengthy, no? Depende sa problem. Pero, ang nakanindot man go, diretso na imong answer. Okay? When you're given IVP, all you have to do is transform it into algebraic problem using Laplace transform and then solving the algebraic problem by algebra, of course, and then we get the solution of the IVP. So how do we do that? This is a solution using Laplace transform method. First, you transform both sides of the ODE. So get the Laplace transform of the left side of the equation, get the Laplace transform the right side of the equation. So for example, at T domain, no, or T space, mo ni ang gihatag sa itong problem. You are given the condition, initial value condition. So getting the Laplace transform of each of both sides, makakuha ta og class og mga S, no? Syempre, kanang kung naka-S na gani siya, sa S domain na siya. So, we call it as the subsidiary equation. Okay? So, we set up the algebraic equation, di ba natin makuha kaganina nga Laplace of y. So, pwede rin na siya Laplace of y ha. Pwede rin siya i-denote as big letter y. Okay? Y of S. Di ba atong notation is kung capital letter na siya sa S domain, naka-Laplace. Kung small letter, na siya sa T domain or katong original niya nga function. Okay, so when we already have this kind of equation, we need to find the solution. Now, sa previous discussion nato sa, I believe, sa inverse transform, nakaagitag ing ani nga mga equation class and we used, it could be partial fraction or kanang simple algebra lang yun. Nag-inverse lang ta, no? So, in this case, kung nakaingani nga equation, then, kani kay naka-partial fraction, nakakuha naman tag value sa ABC ani. What if, katong ang iyahang denominator is kuan pa, naka-polynomial pa siya. So, you have to factor it out and then, use partial fraction, no, para mabuak-buak nimo siya. Kay, again, wala man tay, I think what I'm trying to say is wala tayo laing way to get the original function, no? Other than to buak-buak the equation para closer siya og itsura sa atong elementary functions. Okay? And then, as I've mentioned, yes, kung nakakuha na kaaning equation, then you get the inverse of that, na dayon kay katong solution of your given problem. And this is now the y or the solution of the ODE. Okay? So gamit tanan class ang ato ang natun-ano from the very beginning up until the derivatives, the transform of derivatives. Okay, let's have this problem and then on the final slide, i-redirect mo dito sa website katong Paul's Online Notes. I'm sure you've heard of that. Na siya tulog ka problem dito nga nindot. So instead of me blabbing about that problem, so I give it to you to self-study. So focus on taaning first problem and then that's it. Okay, so we want to find a solution class of kani ko ana gid ni siya class differential equation na gid ni siya, no? So we have y double prime minus 5y prime plus 4y is equal to 3e to the 40 given that y prime of 0 is equal to 0, y of 0 is equal to 0. Okay, so I think that's quite easy kay mga 0 0 naman na, pero show ra gyapon ta, step by step ra gyapon ta class. All right, first step is again we need to get the Laplace transform of both sides. So let's get the transform of each side class, that is y double prime okay, mag-Laplace transform sa diri sa right side. All right. So again, using the linear property of Laplace transform, pwede na to siya mabulag in this way. Pagawas na ito mga constant class. A constant ang 3, so that is e to the 40. Okay, and then substitute everything atong nahibawan. So that is, ang Laplace transform of y double prime is s squared. Laplace transform of y minus sy of 0 minus y prime of 0. Okay? Minus 5. And then the Laplace transform of y prime is s Laplace transform of y minus s y of 0. Okay? Plus 4 Laplace transform of y. Muna sa left side. Sa right side, we have 3. Now, we know the Laplace transform of e to the 40. And that is just 1 over s minus 4. Okay, so dira lang sana siya. Let's substitute the values class. Now, we are given, naka-0 man na siya tanan, so wala tayo problema. Ipang 0 na to tanan, class, kining y of 0, y prime of 0, y of 0. Okay? So, we have s squared Laplace of y minus 5s, no, Laplace of y plus 4 Laplace of y equals 3 over s minus 4. Now, what we're going to do here is we factor out Laplace of y. So, that is s squared minus 5s plus 4 is equal to 3 over s minus 4. Okay? So, kanina dahil Laplace of y class, ipabili na to siya sa left side. Okay? So, we cross multiply. We have, dirin lang. Okay? We have the Laplace transform of y is simply equal to 3 over, we have s minus 4, yeah, s squared minus 5s plus 4. Okay? And that is, now, kini siya class, muna siya ang Laplace transform of y. So, before ta mag-solve, ato lang sa i-appreciate ng Laplace, nga nata expression for the Laplace transform of y. Because, and that is the solution nga itong gipangita. Okay? So, in order to get the inverse, ato sa siyang buakon class, we need to find the factors of s squared minus 5s plus 4. And that would be, that is just equal to s minus 4 and s plus 1. Sorry, s minus 1 day, s minus 1. Okay? So this is now our simplified no, naka-factor na ang iyang denominator. Now, dili nato ni diretso ma-inverse. So what we're gonna do is, we solve this using partial fraction, no? 3 terms. Okay? When we have 3 factors sa ubos, dapat 3 terms pa nga to ang pagpangita sa partial fraction. Now, how do we do that? Recall partial fraction, that is s minus 4, no, kapihon lang na ako na. That is, ang isa is a over. Now, you have a common factor mga diri nga s minus 4 class. So, kung nakay common factor, dapat ang isa na is ang s minus 4, while the other one should be s minus 4 squared. Okay? Kung nakay tulo ka factor nga same, i-increase lang ni mga exponent. Okay, remember? And then finally, we have plus c over s minus 1. All right, so solving for that, solving for a, b, and c, natay 3 is equal to a, multiplied by s minus 4, s minus 1, plus b, s minus 1, s minus 1 ra, plus c, s minus 4 squared. Okay, that is equal to a, ato lang na-expand gamay, s squared minus 5s plus 4 plus bs minus b plus c s squared minus 8s plus 16. Okay, so ipang-group na to ang like terms, that is a plus c is s squared plus, now we have minus 5a plus b minus 8c. Okay, multiplied by s plus 4a, okay, minus b plus 16c. Okay, so let me just decrease this b. Okay, after which class, we can have 3 equations, no, 3 unknowns. We have a plus c is equal to 0, negative 5a plus b minus 8c is equal to 0 gyapon, and finally we have 4a minus b plus 16c is equal to 3. Okay, kanang 3 ni mo dira. And then, solving for that, di na lang ako kung kita sa kayo. We'll get a value of A nga 1/3, sorry, negative 1/3. And then B, which is 1, and C, 1/3. Okay, so that means, class, ang ato ang Laplace transform di ay of y is just equivalent to this one, you know, with values of A, B, and C. So if you try to substitute, we have 1, negative 1/3 times 1 over S minus 4. Okay, plus 1 over S minus 4 squared plus 1/3 times 1 over S minus 1. Okay, and then, kini na din, class, mao na din niya itong kaanog inverse. Okay? So, that means, ang y na to is just the inverse of everything. Kini siya. Okay, inverse ana tanan. So, if you get the inverse, linear property ra gihapon, pwede per term ang pagkuha. So, y, class, is just equivalent to negative 1/3. Now, 1 over S minus 4, inverse Laplace transform is e to the 4t. Okay? And then, plus, ang S, 1 over S minus 4 squared, class, we know that 1 over S squared is Laplace transform niya is t. Pero tungod sa shifting, na siya e, class, nag-shift siya, na siya S minus 4 instead of S lang. So that means, ang t ni mo, paki-review ang inverse transform or ang, ang shifting na theorem. So, ang t ni mo, class, multiply ni mo e to the 4t, mo nang ni-shift ang imuhang, instead of S squared, na mo siyang S minus 4 squared. Alright? Plus, 1/3 niya, ang 1 over S minus 1 is just e to the t. So, this is now your solution to your differential equation. Okay, and then the next, again, ng mga next problems will be on this website. Just check it out. And I'll be posting your next quiz and your performance innovative task. I think by the time you watch this video, nag-post na pud ko about Ana. So, that would be all for Laplace transform. I think we'll have a last lecture next week before the final exam. So, thank you for listening and goodbye.